All right, it's that time of the year, our first champion watch of the season. I've got it down to these 6 teams, and we're going to go through each one and meticulously pick at and make sure that they're the champion. We're going to get down to about 3 to 4 teams today, and those aren't our PPF top 4, just because at the end of the season, those will be different. However, right now, we're going to look at who might rise to that top 4 spot. We're going to look at some other metrics like KenPom and Torvik, then we're going to decide who we think the best candidates are. Right now I have 2 green flag teams that are waving right through to the end. That's Auburn and Iowa State. I know they're going to be there. They're going to rise to that top 4 spot. Auburn's already number 1, and I don't think they're going to move. The reason I say it for those 2 teams is because their non-conference numbers exceeded the most important metrics for national champions on average. From the tables I created with data compiled from CBV Analytics, I was able to determine that Auburn and Iowa State were both 0.1% better on average for the top 13 most important stats. One team that I want to straight up eliminate is Duke. They're about 12% worse than the average national champion in these categories. It's not the only reason I'm eliminating Duke. It's also because of their very slow tempo. They're 278th in adjusted tempo. Before you say, then how did UConn win last year if they were really slow? It's because they were way better than everybody else, and Duke is not. Take a look at this graph. As you can see, there's a very real trend towards higher tempos winning national championships, and the reason that is because whenever you have a higher tempo, you can prove you're the better team more easily. If you play less possessions, what can go wrong will go wrong unless you have a coach like Dan Hurley who can get you points whenever you need them. The other 3 possible teams to win the national championship are Florida, Illinois, and Alabama in that order. However, Alabama looks suspect. If you're wondering where Houston and Tennessee are, I'm not mentioning them because they can't shoot. Both teams are about 200th in effective field goal percentage at away and neutral site locations. But with all that being said, I'm going to lay out some championship criteria, and then we're going to check mark if each team has it or not. First up with KenPom, and every year since 2012, except for 2014, the national champion has been firmly top 7 in pre-tournament ratings. Next on our list, all of those champions have been top 14 in the Torvik away and neutral site ratings. And most importantly, in my ratings, all of those champions have been top 4. Since all of these teams are top 6 in my ratings, I will go ahead and give them all a check mark because I project that they all have an equal chance of being top 4. Since I'm already eliminating Duke, I'm going to have Alabama join them because they were 16% worse than the average national champion in the 13 most important statistic that I mentioned earlier. Even though Illinois is not top 7 KenPom, they're hanging around at number 8, so they could jump in at any moment, so I will not eliminate them. All of this leads me to believe that these are the 4 teams we should be looking at the closest. We're going to keep an eye on them throughout the rest of the season and do longer videos that are more in depth for each team. Make sure you don't miss that by subscribing to this YouTube channel and following me on my Instagram @OutofBrackets.